Hey, what's up guys? This is Christopher from breezyskins.com, and today we're going to be walking you through the steps of installing your custom graphics on a Concept 2 ski erg. For our installation today, we're going to need an applicator card, some alcohol prep pads, some painter's tape, and a pair of scissors. All right, so first step for installation, I'm going to take my alcohol prep pads and I'm going to clean the area where the vinyl is going to go down. I want to get all the dirt and debris, dust off the surface, because that's going to enable our vinyl to stick down the way we want it to. So if the pads are not enough, you can feel free to just use some regular isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel. All right, so I've got my surfaces all prepped and nice and clean. Next thing we're gonna do is start to apply our graphics to our arms. So starting out with the first one here, if you notice I've got a few little short, about 2 to 3 inch strips, and I've got one slightly longer one. So what I wanna do is, with these shorter strips, I'm gonna start at the bottom. I wanna make sure that this edge of the bottom is lined up as close as we can get it right to the edge of this bottom edge of the arm, and also centered nicely. So once I get that, I'm going to stick that down. Then we're going to work our way up to the top here. Once I get that top centered and it's nice and flat, I'm going to take this down. So I've got our top and bottom secured down here. Okay. Now from here, I can see about how we've got it lined up. Look straight at the top, straight at the bottom, and our bottom edge is lined up nicely with the edge of this crease right here. So I'm just going to take a longer piece. We're going to make a hinge out of this. So we're just going to go flat down, come all the way around here, and make sure that this is stuck down nice and flat, and again, perfectly straight. If we have this off slightly, it's going to cause our angle to be off, and these are going to be very far right or left by the time we get to the end. So that looks pretty good. All right, so we've got this stuck down straight. I've got my hinge set here. So the next thing I'm going to do is free up this bottom edge here. Discard this tape. I'm going to peel up some of the vinyl. This free end that we have here. Take my scissors, cut off this excess backing paper. There we go. And I'm going to just take my applicator card and working from this hinge, just smoothing straight down the middle. Just going to come right down. Go. I'm working from the middle out, and then just smooth this out as good as we can. This is laying nice and flat here. There we go. All right, first step done. So we've got our first part of it down. So now that we have some of this stuff down, we can go ahead and remove the remainder of the tape. Very carefully here. Make sure on the tape you're not using anything super strong like a duct tape or Gorilla tape or anything like that. You want this to be fairly easy to remove. If it's too strong, it's going to end up stretching the vinyl and it's not going to lay straight. So now that we've got this already set here, I'm actually just going to go ahead and peel up the remainder of this. I'm going to hold it slightly away up here, and I'm going to just let my squeegee press this down where it wants to go. So it's important that I'm not pushing this one way or the other. I'm just letting the squeegee lay it down in the straight path that we had it as we had it taped, and it'll find its way exactly where it needs to go. So there we go, hit the top. All right, working the way middle to outside. A little bit there. As we're going here, we're just kind of hitting the edges with my fingers, smoothing out any bubbles to the outside that we can. Actually looks really nice. Right. So next we're going to repeat this exact same thing on the other side, and then we're going to get started on the bottom pieces. All right, so we've got our top arms installed. They look really good. Next we're going to start moving to these bottom pieces. Before I do that, I will give you one little tip. So if you're having a little bit of issues working with these because they've been coiled up and they're kind of a little bit hard to lay flat, you can turn these around and roll them in the other direction. If you're just getting them out of the package right when you're installing, they might still be coiled kind of tightly. So you can just roll this up the reverse way and it'll kind of relax it enough to where it'll at least make the taping up for the installation a little bit easier. That, or you can just lay these out for a day or two if you have that much time before your installation, and they'll relax on their own. So next up, we're gonna hang our longer piece. So on one side, we don't have these bolts to mess with, so that way we can go seamless all the way down. The opposite side, we've got some bolts here and here, so the graphic will actually start just below that area. So we're gonna go ahead and do our longer one here. So as you can see, they match up nicely right here in the middle. So we're just gonna take this up, make sure that just as we did at the top, we've got it nice and flush with this seam right here, and it's centered up nicely on our graphic. That'll be our first line-up point that we'll make. And then after that, we'll meet up at the bottom. Get that nice and centered between these bolts. Take right there at the other end. Feel pretty good about the straightness of this. So as I'm laying it flat, I'm just looking to see if it looks like it's off to one side or the other. This looks nice and straight. Let's go ahead and make our hinge and start sticking it down. Nice and straight. Hinge down. There we go. And we're ready to start sticking this side down. All right, so we've got this in place nicely. I'm just going to free up one end of our tape here. Peel this down, expose some of this backing paper here. Cut some excess off. Making sure that I'm not moving this in any way. Well, my non-existent videographer seemed to cut the tape halfway through there, but this is the end result of sticking that down. So let's go through the process one more time with our last remaining panel on the other side. Yeah, so you may have heard me mention there just a second ago, I missed some of the footage on there, but essentially the only thing that's going to be different about this side compared to the other side over here is that we're not going all the way up to the seam on this side. So on the opposite side, you need to make sure that you're lining it up from the top edge down. From here, we're going to be lining it up from in between the bolts. So we're going to get it nice and centered first, right here, lined up nicely, and then we're going to go ahead and start sticking it down. Straight. Position it slightly. Just a little. There we go. Pretty straight. Set our hinge. So first we're gonna free up our one end vinyl. Peel some vinyl from our backing paper. Making sure when I'm moving it. Some backing. squeegee, working from the hinge middle straight up, and let the squeegee lay it down for us. Working our way out. And we're just going to peel off our remaining tape. Roll up here to our end that we've got already stuck down. And we'll just begin working our way down to the bottom. I'm going to peel a little bit of this. Let it run down. Peel some more. It's close enough. I'll go ahead and peel the whole thing. Just going to run it straight. Yeah. Right like that.